Usually we see it pop up, but often it's live before we see it, and it's probably good. So, all right. Welcome to Wise Beyond Bitcoin, where you come for the crypto neo news, education, and opportunities. My name is Lucas.
And my name is Ryan.
And
we got some great guests.
We got some other names. We got some other names. Didn't even. So we're shooting from the hip tonight. It's live stream. Feel free to ask your questions, but you guys go ahead. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Yeah. So my name is Patrick. I'm one of the co-founders of Jackal DAO, and I have my other co-founder here, Marston. If you want to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah. So I'm Marston. I'm more the tech side of the co-foundation of Jackal.
Absolutely. And I just work purely in business development, marketing, and things along those lines.
Well, those are hugely important when it comes to allowing products to be adopted, and for people, we talk about that, and that's what we love about economics. You understand the value of different markets and jobs, and that's a huge service to the world to let people know how something can be used, how this technology can be of value to them, and what you guys are building. Which, thank you for coming out here. Really, really excited to talk about what you're building, because this is really what blockchain and crypto was all about. When people started envisioning what the capabilities of decentralized data storage, it was immature and kind of impotent without privacy. But building on a layer one with privacy in the foundation allows you guys to create these really dynamic protocols that can't be replicated on other chains.
Yeah, it's a great time and place to be building right now. We can get into this a little bit later as well. We started with this e-discovery tool for purpose-built for law firms and court. But we started to realize that data storage and the security of data when it comes to digital evidence is something that is really important. And we didn't really trust the current centralized or legacy systems, and we didn't want to have a server in the back of the office either. So we said, okay, how about we try to create something where you can control your data through your cryptocurrency wallet, like a Kepler wallet. And Marston, if you want to get into that a little bit, that would be a good time.
Yeah, so we were really we started working and we started building on Google Cloud storage, which it works really great for fast storage, but it was are we trusting Google and maybe any middlemen to handle our data when the data could be extremely, extremely sensitive? And so from that, we just thought, hey, cryptocurrency, there's a lot of good verifiable truth in the blockchain, and what better place to go on to e-discovery than that? And then so we started digging around, because there's no privacy on something like Ethereum or Polygon. It's all open. And then we stumbled across Secret Network. Everything's encrypted. Well, that's great. And now so we started looking around, and eventually we just kept scaling, because it started with trying to store as much as we possibly could on chain. And then we realized that's not possible. You just can't store enough on the chain to make it worth your time. So then we started building a bunch of nodes that all connect to each other and then connect to the secret contract to basically manage all of your data for you. But you encrypt it before it ever hits one of those nodes, and you store all of your encryption keys in the secret contract. So it's this really cool ecosystem, layer 2 almost, on top of the secret network, that leverages all the secret network's privacy, but still manages to give you storage in large quantities that aren't just one word on the secret contract.
Yeah, interesting. So to take another step back, essentially what we're just building is we're building that IBC AWS solution that everyone needs to be. If everyone wants to be quote unquote decentralized, you're not decentralized if AWS goes out and then half of the DeFi entities just disappear all of a sudden, and everyone's hey, wait, what's going on here? So we're looking to provide that storage layer that we think is really important, and at no time can we ever access that data ourselves. And we're completely switching the business model of data storage to where for us to have customers, we have to provide value, not just sell your data or run analytics or figure out different ways to kind of play with the economy of data. That's this underlying thing that no one really pays attention to. So yeah, we're building something really interesting here, and we're just looking to be that IBC AWS essentially, but instead of AWS, it's Jackal.
I love it. And that's awesome, because exciting. What you're creating shows people who maybe aren't aware. A lot of people who are just not learning about blockchain. They're just learning about crypto. And maybe if they got it from mainstream, they thought, oh, isn't crypto that anonymous thing? It's like, no. Crypto is called crypto because of the word cryptography, but it's the opposite of anonymous. It's the opposite of anonymous. It's a big, transparent public ledger that allows you to see everything from the beginning of the blockchain to the present day. That's exactly what it is. So you showing that AWS, that right now all these decentralized protocols are right now, your strongest, your weakest link, they are hinging upon these highly centralized system points of failure. And by creating this, you're actually showing the problem with the solution, which I love, because it's like you're creating the alternative it's like, look, let me just show you here. Look, this is better. It's a car that has it has headlights, it has a windshield wiper, it's got a roof on it. You can try that other thing, that has flat tires, but this one, they're aired up. Just give it a go. You'll see it's a little bit better.
Well, it definitely.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it definitely feels like it's living up to the promise in a way that other crypto projects don't. And I'm kind of reminded of what you guys are doing with file storage and web services is kind of like a parallel with what's going on with Luna and stablecoins, right? Because you got Tether and USDC and like these very centralized stablecoins that have these direct connections to the dollar, right? Whether they're collateralized by dollar assets or whatever, right? So they're basically importing the Fed's monetary policy. So it's like how decentralized is this stablecoin? And it's the same thing with what you're saying with the DeFi space tied to these centralized web servers. It's like, how decentralized are you if at the foundation you have this direct link, this direct point of failure? So I really feel like this is, the time is right for this, and I love what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, like with file storage that we've been looking at, like basically every NFT that exists right now is storing their images on IPFS or like Arweave. And I love IPFS. I will never speak poorly of IPFS because it's so cool. But it's not necessarily what everyone thinks it is, because somebody still needs to host that data. And so like when you see like all the big NFT projects hosting it on IPFS, it's sitting on someone's computer somewhere. And if that computer goes down and nobody else is supplying those images, your NFT that you paid for, the image is just gone.
Right.
And
it's just code
like,
now.
Yeah, it's just a reference to an image that's not there, and that's what you're paying for. Well, so like that's just a ridiculous concept that all these NFTs they're pushing before a technology that they're relying on even really exists. And it's kind of like this weird paradigm where it's still kind of Web 2.5, and IPFS is that middle layer that bridges the Web 3 to the Web 2, but it's still not really a solution for what people are using it for. And I think that's where a product like Jackal needs to come in and say, hey, we are incentivizing our nodes to keep that data online and accessible. Like Filecoin does to keep it online, IPFS makes it accessible, but it's really hard to match those two together without having a point of centralization. And so that's kind of what we're aiming to really bridge that gap there. And it every day that we build this, it's like, how has somebody not put this together already almost?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well,
because the use cases are obvious.
Yeah, and if we back up another second, when you guys talked about everything's public on the blockchain, or you have decentralized point of failures, there's Marcin and I, or the industry we come from is digital forensics and digital investigation. So when you see something pop up, I don't know if you're familiar with Rect News, or if you're familiar with kind of whenever a big exchange gets compromised, or there's a big cryptocurrency theft or fraud that's relating to Canada, often we're involved with the recovery of that. So when we look at systems that have decentralized point of failures, AWS or Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure or Alibaba Cloud, depending on where you are in the world, at any moment they can turn off the power on a lot of these DeFi entities. And we think that's something that's really dangerous. And if you want to see the end game of DeFi versus the legacy systems, right now they still hold a lot of power over these decentralized entities running rampant. So we think it's fair to provide the infrastructure and the full stack of technology to actually be decentralized, and that's essentially what we're bringing to the table here, we believe.
It's
That's
necessary.
Awesome. That's awesome, and I think seeing more people break into this Web3 space and more developers moving into from Web 2 to Web 3, you're starting to see developers understanding how important privacy is, and you're starting to see these full stack developers who are interested in privacy aspects or interested in secret network. And you can see that even with Morales. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but they recently talked a bit about secret network and did a little bit of a breakdown on secret network. And I think it's just kind of going to show that the value proposition of what you're bringing here is just massive.
Yeah, no, and not only that, Jacob, it's when it's Jacob, correct? Yeah, it is Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm just checking on the Zoom name tags here. Not only that, but the ability to have the toggle on and off of visibility or privacy of a specific file. That's what brings industry, because it's really hard to provide industry when everyone can just see everything at all times. Imagine trying to provide a professional services such as accounting. Okay, here's your tax return. I'll just publish this on IPFS where anyone can go query it at any time and go read your tax return. And it's really hard to have a paywall in front of something, or, hey, we can flip the business model so you do the accountant does the tax return and then mints it as an NFT, and then you have to pay to unlock your taxes, right? That wouldn't really work unless you have programmable privacy. So as soon as we add this extra little bit of programmability to blockchain, things really start to shift, and enterprise and industry starts to see blockchain in a different light, which provides a lot of value. You see with the Tarantino NFTs, and you see with all kinds of things that we believe are coming down the pipe really soon.
Yeah, and with enterprise level data, you're concerned with things like corporate espionage and trade secrets and all sorts of things that would make public blockchain unattractive, right, for those kinds of entities.
That can be controlled by a little ledger or something along those lines. The digital privacy and cybersecurity posture of all your data as an organization, the likelihood of ransomware attacks goes down for compromising the entire system and not having a backup. If you look at Jackal, we're looking to play with things like file version control, so you can revert to previous backups and things like that. So we think this would be a really, really resilient system once we get it up and running.
Very cool. I was looking at through the light paper, probably the older version. I know we got the more recent one up, but you guys are doing a lot of innovative things beyond file storage. Can we talk a little bit about the evidence side and the services that you're going to be talking about offering?
Yeah, so we took that out in the most recent one because we kind of want to really focus on one thing at a time, but we have a lot of pipe dreams, and this is something that we can really get into here tonight, and I think you guys would be really good guys to talk about that. Cool. It's about where can we go, because we wanted, for when it comes to selling this to the early investors and selling this to the community, we kind of want to bring in the horse blinders here so we can see the first initial problem that we're looking to solve. But we get into things like offering, we called it the pipe dreams with Jackal Nomads, where you can start providing professional services or creating marketplaces for professional services. It's a no-brainer for us to start providing things like cybersecurity or other things along those lines that we can integrate by offering it through the full stack that we're creating to have those marketplaces and have that control around your data and create these marketplaces to provide not only professional services, but incentivize people to build applications on top of Jackal. And that's kind of how we have two different ways that this scales. The first way that it scales is through direct kind of traditional integration teams and sales teams getting it into enterprises. But there's the other way that this scales, and this is a much more fun way, is that we provide very good developer support, and we get people to come build applications on top of Jackal, which we're an open source software. So we're looking to really build this thing out and kind of pivot from different directions and be really community driven and developer focused application.
That's awesome. That's great, because I think part of the biggest problem that a lot of blockchains have is they just don't have development. They have all these great ideas, but no developers.
Yeah. Well, when you look at new blockchains pop up, it's always the first things that come into play are it's the similar things from other blockchains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's what we're about at Jackal is we're really trying to push the envelope and push this forward. Because theoretically, we could go back and we could recreate the secret network, or we could go back and recreate Filecoin. But we'd rather not do that. How about we just use them for what they're good for, integrate it with our product, and just push forward? And that's kind of what we're here to do. Marcin, what are you thinking?
No, yeah, I'm just like it's really hard to, with developer support. It's something that a lot of projects just kind of leave on the back burner. And we've noticed this a lot with like things that we've been building on, even when we were building over on the Polygon network. There's a lot of documentation out there for Solidity, which is the programming language for all the smart contracts on Polygon, but they're pushing so far forward all the time that they like never really stop to think like, hey, we should make this easy to get into, because they already have stuff that works and they stick with it. And so like it makes it hard to onboard. It's something ever since the Secret Network did the big Supernova update, there was a lot of stuff changed. And it took a while for developers to understand what those changes were, because there was no documentation for them right out of the gate, because new things were happening. And so that's something we're really strong about, is developer support. Is like, if you want to build on Jackal, you can meet with us who have been working on Jackal for like, I don't know, the past, what is it, in like 8 months almost. And it's like, we will sit down with you, have a chat about what you're building, see where we can help out and direct you to the right place. And like, we're trying to make our documentation as open and easy to use as possible, because like, I know I'm a developer, I don't like documentation. So if I can get documentation that's nice, and we can bring people in really, really easily, I think that's the best move for us. And I think everybody will appreciate having storage easily accessible in all their apps.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, people will have it accessible in all their apps, because there was mention of institution or commercial enterprise application, but you know, this is also, you can see this is really what it takes for interpersonal, you know, use of blockchain and crypto. Really, I mean, I feel that this is the way humanity is used to communicating data and information. We're used to being able to have something that we can share with someone, that we choose to share with someone close to us that we care about, and say, this is between you and me, or say it in the woods or in the forest. And it doesn't have to be on a public ledger that anyone can go look at later and say, what did you say to your loved one in the forest a long time ago? It's like, so allowing people the control over that data and who they choose to share it with and when. I think that's really important, because it's great that we have decentralized security. Great. But what are we securing? And if it's just making you have to put everything out there, it's like, well, this isn't really, it's like, Ryan and I talk about this, we kind of joke. It's like, you know, all these other layer ones in EVMs that don't have privacy, they're great at showing the potential, of seeing what blockchain and crypto can do, DeFi and all these other things. But the reality is that without privacy, they're really not mature. Like, it doesn't really make sense. And the miner extracted value thing being a problem, that's a lot bigger. And nobody talks about it, because the whole market would die if that was really told to be a big, you know, as big as it is. But $1 billion a year, which is half the whole market cap of crypto, is lost to miner extracted value. And that's eliminated with privacy, because that data is no longer easily accessible on the public blockchain for people to take advantage of, which is, you know, Secret Swap and, you know, some of these early exchanges on Secret, one of their claim to fames. But I think what you guys are building, what's being built on Secret, when you really peel back behind the curtain and go look through the market cap, what else is there that is building something really of this value and this utility using blockchain? I mean, y'all are really paving the way and creating something that's actually practical for the world. Really, that's what it seems.
Especially
like.
When you consider the interoperability with the IBC at the larger space. You know, it's really a novel space.
And what you guys are doing with Filecoin and Secret Network is the scalability, because you're saying we're not trying to load everything on the Secret Network. Chill. There's a way to do it where we've got this storage, this data storage system, and we plug it in, we tie it in with the privacy and the security of Secret Network, so you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you can kind of look at us as kind of one of the first IBC companies, right? if you want to look at us in a different light, obviously we're really heavy on creating we have our own incentive layer of our own miners that provide data to make everything fast, but we're still building a layer 2. But we get to not only serve everyone in the IBC, but we also get to leverage everyone in the IBC into our platform, which we're really excited about. And that's what we're about doing. And when we build Jackal, it's about choice, where it's about choice. Do you want to share your data? Then share your data. If you want to sell your own data, sell your own data. If you don't want to do either, then don't. Right? And the ability to have that in your ledger or in your web browser extension, and have the ability to sign your own transactions and give people write permissions or read permissions or both permissions. It's the programmability is really, really important with crazy controls regarding like a specific file tree, which is interesting as well. Marcin, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I just mean like we've really tried to build in this like idea of choice. That's the main thing. Even like the node network we've set up, all the nodes have a score associated with them. So like if there's a bad actor, they're downvoted pretty quick, out of the network they go. But so even those, like if you build a custom client and there's a very particular node that you know the address of that you just do not want to interact with, you don't have to. And it wouldn't really necessarily matter because all your data is encrypted, and by the time it hits the node, they can't even tell what it is. But it's there for you. It's built in, all of this privacy as well as choice. Every file has read-write permissions. You can choose exactly which addresses have permission to read them, write them. And then on top of that, like you can assign default permissions to folders. So anytime you create a file, it'll inherit the folder's permission. So like if your folder is private, you create a file in it, that's not going to open the file up to the world. It's just going to stay private until you choose to do something with it. And I think that idea of choice is like a really, really big part of what just general industry is lacking. If you look at Microsoft, Amazon, Google, I mean, you get choice, but they're all kind of the same. They charge the same, they offer very similar services, and they're all massive, giant tech companies that mine your data. And so if you want to get away from one of those things, you just can't really, unless you're hosting it on your own computer or like your neighbor's computer.
Another thing that's really interesting is when you go and you approach a website on the internet, you're essentially giving them your data, right? But we can kind of create this new paradigm shift where instead of you providing data to the application writes data in your wallet and you give them permission to a specific folder where they give you data that you can collect and that you can do whatever you want with. So it's the different things we can play with here are really, really interesting that we're really excited about.
I mean, when you talking about that just makes my mind think. I mean, that what that allows for DAOs. What that allows for DAOs to be able to do an interaction to give people different levels of power within a structure that can be pre-planned and pre-coordinated. I mean, it allows for a level of a dynamic, level to be built in to.
Well, on top of that, right, you can do multi-signature wallets. So your DAO could have 5 people all stuck with the multi-sig. And so if you want to make any changes to the DAO structure, you need like 3 out of the 5 votes. And like that kind of stuff is just built in with Secret Network and the Cosmos ecosystem, which I think is really, really cool because you can, and like I could own a folder, but only that folder. So any folders in it, I'm the owner of. But then like the 5 members that control the top folder, they all have their own folder that they manage. And like those types of company structures can exist now, which is something that just hasn't been done when on like IPFS or Filecoin, you upload one file and then you have the file's ID, and that's how you grab stuff. Now you have this nice folder structure that you can organize and assign permissions to, which is just like the first of its kind on blockchain, which I think is really, really interesting.
I think that's massive, and especially with what we see in NFT projects. I happen to be a part of an NFT project that had a little bit of a problem with their corporate structure. They were structured in a way where handful of people each had a business entity that oversaw a part of the NFT series rather than working together. And what ended up happening is one particular member of that NFT structure, well, they kind of just stopped providing value, and others fell suit, and the NFT project is now in new hands under a new rebranded corporation, and now they have like an actual structure to it. But before it was just it was decentralized in a way that wasn't done right.
Didn't work.
Yeah, it just didn't work. But I'd rather not talk about who exactly they are, though.
No doubt.
I absolutely love what you guys are doing, though. I think even beyond just the crypto space, the applications that can be built within Jackal DAO could be massive. I mean, imagine a YouTube-like platform where you can upload videos and you don't have that level of censorship to where, let's say if I post something that's not entirely child-friendly, but it ends up on the child version of that site, then rather than having it taken down, you just move it over.
Yeah, we can do the thing that we're bringing to the table is the ability to have kind of a really interesting file structure and file tree and ownership of your data that's not really been seen before. And that's even just the ability to sign your own transactions for your data from your Kepler wallet is something alone that hasn't really been seen before. When it comes to big amounts of data, not just NFT transactions that involve metadata in the contract. But yeah, we're going through all kinds of crazy things right now, and we're going through the ability to get things going, get things off the ground, deal with private sales, deal with the launch pads. We're trying to figure out different ways that we can get this going. And yeah, anything you guys want to talk about, we're here for it. I love really talking with you guys.
Well, have you guys thought about any kind of like a messaging or email service? I know Ultramail's doing their thing, but is that something that you guys thought about, or because it seems consistent with what you're doing somewhat? Maybe I'm off base.
Absolutely no. Ultras, we've been speaking with them, and they're probably one of the first people that are going to try to see if we can hook in with them, and we would just be the stand-in for AWS or Google, whoever they're using at this current time.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
So these are the things that we're looking to do. Data Vault 2, for them to have that content management and really have those really great paywalls around your data as well. Mm-hmm. Just providing that large storage layer for the underlying ecosystem. We can hook in with anyone that's using the AWS right now, because when we built Jackal, we thought it was smart to follow the same standard as AWS, which is the S3 standard, so that with a few lines of code, we can easily hijack, yeah. But we can hook into their system really, really easily, and then no one would. Hopefully, we'll get to a point where the handoff is pretty seamless, and no one will really notice the difference.
Very cool.
So you were saying data vaults they would be able to use for their secret bazaar, exchange place of privacy, data exchange. They would be able to use you guys instead of a more centralized server platform, and that's really kind of what this is all about: creating resiliency and allowing blockchain to work on all levels, not blockchain light where you have features of blockchain here and there, but if you peel behind the curtain, it's actually it's all
that's the thing, right? Like, and with being on the IBC, we've been exposed to Akash, which is another really, really great service. And like the thing with Akash is it's just lacking that persistence. And so if you have an app on Akash where, well, let's say you plug stuff into a database on Akash, like your user interface is you buy something, and that order has to go through their system. And if that node shuts down, well, that order is gone. It's just the receipt is gone. It's not there anymore. So if you want to deal with that right now, you have to use some other service. So you have like your Akash node, and then all of the data is sent from the Akash node to Google Cloud or Amazon storage. And so if we can build that like network of storage that Akash can go to, you could have 30 Akash nodes all running the same code, all hooked into the same database. And so if one of them goes down, who cares? You have 29 more, and they're all doing the same thing. And so that creates a really, really new shift where your front end can be on Akash, and all the computing can be done there, and all the storage is done on Jackal, and now you've got two completely decentralized applications working together to build an entire decentralized website. And you're not just dealing with like hosting static pages anymore, which is really, really interesting.
So y'all really, y'all give Akash the synergistic effect. You really can collaborate and work together there and make them a stronger platform.
Something interesting that we've been looking into is the ability to host websites on Jackal, which would be interesting in itself. And for you to host a website, that's one thing, but people have to get to your website, and we need something called a gateway. And if you spin up 5 Akash gateways, that you can kind of pick your gateway to get to the Jackal website. That, like, us working with them, they would kind of be the Oracle Cloud Computing to our AWS storage. So they provide the virtual machines or the VMware, whatever company you want to use, whether it be Oracle or whoever. But they provide the cloud computing. We provide the storage layer. Is what we're looking to do at this time for sure.
Interesting.
That's huge.
So
that's huge.
Yeah,
I mean,
every time we think of every time we're working on it, more stuff pops up, and it's like every day we have new ideas.
I mean, sign me up. Just know already, as soon as that's able to happen, a website being able to do that, done.
Yeah.
I have Jackal tokens. I'm staking it. By the way, happy Valentine's Day, because I think if I took my notes correctly listening to you guys before, I'm going to do a little alfalfa. We like to share a little love and food to feed the knowledge. So here's the alfalfa drop, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but February 14th, there's a Dropbox-style app that people will be able to interact with. Or what's the story on that? Is that true?
Yeah, Marcin, if you want to, it's definitely going to be on the 14th. Marcin and I both have girlfriends, so it's the other push to get us done before the 14th, or else we'll be in big trouble. But yeah, that's kind of it. We're creating. It's all on testnet, and so we can't guarantee. It's the time for everyone to come and break our system.
Sure.
Right? Because we're not naive. We're not going to come out with like the perfect system right out of the gate. And that's why we're open source, because we want to become stronger as time goes on and have that exponential growth. So. On the 14th, you'll be able to come to the Jackal application, and you can upload files, and let's play with it. Let's try to break it, upload some weird files. And if you find a vulnerability or find an issue, you can fill out a form, which would be a report to us, and we'll reward you with pre-launch Jackal tokens for that work. So it's an incentivized testing that we're creating.
I'm going to do my best to break it.
And we hope you do.
Yeah, that's the whole point here.
That's cool.
And that's what we're trying to kind of just out of the gate start that, but make sure that you have another copy of the file, because we can't promise that it will go from the testnet to the mainnet. So that's something we want to touch on every time we do one of these interviews, because if you start uploading the only copy of your photos of your Nan before she passed or something like that, if we lose that, we'll feel really, really bad.
And by the way, just a note out there. We never went through this. This is just educational, entertainment information. None of this is financial, marital, commercial, legal, medical advice. We're just hanging out, shooting the breeze, talking technology and research. And yeah, absolutely. Don't load up all pictures of Nan or anything on a testnet. Don't even go if it's a testnet, especially.
Don't go sending your tokens to a testnet. Don't go sending your pictures to a testnet.
And follow the good leadership at Jackal DAO, and make sure that if you do take advantage of this, you spend some time to share some time with your loved one, and you get that Jackal token system crashing on the slide. Do it in the bathroom break, be like, oh, hold on, honey, I'll be right back. Flip open the laptop, then come back with the roses and the drinks and all that good stuff.
Or just do it together.
Yeah, do it together. You both can have the euphoric sensations of digital privacy together.
That's the meme. That was the funniest meme. I love that. I just remember that now. That is the best way. That's bliss. If you actually, that if you are sitting on February 14th with someone and y'all are both just giddy over the potential of what's being built on Jackal DAO and sharing in that together, both with your own Kepler wallet, I mean,
That's
Well,
marriage material.
why don't you share a Kepler wallet if you're together? You ever thought about that? Or you can have it.
no, it's about resiliency. It's about
You
resiliency.
can have-
It's about
you can have-
resiliency.
You can have a multi-sig, or you can have a file tree where you both have your own spot.
2 multi-sigs. Well,
Two multi.
There's some moral hazard in that, I think. I don't know. Maybe not.
yeah, the Jackal DAO. I dig everything that you guys are building. It's like I will say that from my perspective, and I know I don't speak for Ryan, but from the stuff that we've talked about over the years, this is kind of really what we've been looking forward to for a long time. It's like crypto's fun. You know, it goes through evolution stages. Like a baby can walk. You know, it crawls, it walks, and then it goes through stages. Well, you see DeFi, and you see AMMs and DEXs, and then you see, oh look, you can build these yield optimizers, and you can do this with code, do great. And it's just been great experimental ground, see what can be done. But without these other protocols being built with this privacy layer and what you guys are doing, there's nothing else like it in blockchain and crypto. In the solutions you guys are bringing, this is really what, from an economics perspective, not just like a speculating of what's the prices of what's out there today, but it's the idea of like, what's the creative destruction? Like, what markets are no longer going to be necessary? What's this going to replace? What industries are we going to be able to replace with this technology that's able to do a better job, a more efficient job at when we say efficient, and for people in like finance terms, that means the cost is better in the price. And that just reminds me, what you guys have built actually is already, it doesn't, so y'all don't need a subsidy like Elon Musk. You don't need some huge big subsidy like the energy company. You don't need any subsidies in order to make it worth someone's time to interact with your service right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, we built this off of less than 100,000 worth of grants. 1 grant from the Secret Network and 1 grant from Filecoin. They both have supported us, and we're really happy to get support from both sides. But that's all we needed, and we just started building away, and we've been building silently. We just kind of keep to our own bubble, and we're just nose to the grindstone right now. But yeah, we're just here to build something really cool. And the other thing is that when you talk about efficiency and price efficiency, I know you guys are both econ guys. We're able to provide this at a price point that's 80% cheaper than legacy systems too.
I
That
saw
is
that.
so awesome.
Go into the details. Let it
That's
go.
huge.
Let it rip, Patrick. Let people know.
Yeah, so, well, if you look at right now, it's Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Alibaba, the usual suspects, as we like to say. They kind of have a monopoly over the cloud storage market, and they can all get together in a room and decide what's the price this year of data storage per terabyte. But we're able to smash that and drive it all the way down to less than $4 a month per terabyte.
Wow.
So,
that's awesome.
and that's while still making sure that our miners are extremely profitable. So it's
That's cheap. That's less than actually, I mean, that's like around the same price as if you just went out and bought the hard drive yourself. It had a terabyte, right? Without all the cloud capacity and the privacy and everything that comes with it. That's huge.
Except I would never suggest this. You can access it from any private key anywhere at any time. So you want to go on your phone, you want to go to the library and load up. I wouldn't recommend loading up your Kepler wallet on a library device, but if you want to do that, you could do that. And that's the great thing. It's but not only is it just the same price as having kind of your own personal SSD. The security parameters around this is like having your own personal SSD in the cloud, which is really interesting. We can't even see it. It's yours. You have full ownership of this thing, and it's verified by a smart contract, and is verified by you don't even have to believe us. You can go audit the code yourself because we're open source.
Which is huge. I mean, that goes without saying, because so many things out there built on blockchain or out there in crypto world are actually not open source. And having something that's open source and decentralized is part of that purity of what this technology was supposed to be, built on. That's that transparency that's lacking in other areas that really separates you guys from what else. I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
That's the respect that we have for a lot of other. Almost every ecosystem in blockchain is open source, and same thing with Filecoin. Like game recognizes game, I guess, right? And they're a really big They're the first in this space, the Protocol Labs. They did IPFS and Filecoin. And there are heroes when it comes to archiving systems and kind of a good place to lock your data away for a long time if you're not going to access it every few seconds. But we're here to provide just the ability to have really quick cloud storage, but have a better digital privacy and cybersecurity posture. And if that's not enough for you, we'll also provide the price point 80% cheaper. So hopefully, like at least one of those things is our idea.
My thing that I like is the fact that you guys are open source, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand how important that is for a project. And case in point, the biggest, most widely used operating system, Linux, is open source. And it's the reason why it's the most widely used, is it's the easiest to just be able to pick up and run with it. And so with you guys operating at so much cheaper, operating a better product, and it's open source, it's almost like that competitive edge where I just don't see once you guys are up and running, once everything gets going, once you guys have applications on there, I could see a replacement to things like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube being built on this platform where people can retain that privacy. And that's mind-blowing.
And the reason we're building here is because we want to access as many individuals or enterprises as possible. And there's no better place to build right now than the IBC. So we can hook in with any chain, any user base, any community, any DEX, any application. That's in the entire Cosmoverse, I guess is the word to use. And that's what we're really excited about, and that's why we're happy to be here at this time. We think it's the right time, right place, and we hopefully have that product market fit.
Absolutely.
I got a question out of the blue. Has there been any thought about doing like a web browser or is that something that wouldn't really fit?
Marcin, I'll let you talk about that.
We could build like a de-Googled Chromium fork with Jackal built in, but we want to keep pushing forward. And so personally, I use Brave. It's right now the best Web3 browser, and like it doesn't have all these Google trackers. Its own ad block is really great. It sticks with me with the whole choice of, can I see ads? Yes, but then they pay you their cryptocurrency. Right. Like that's all really great. And I think building into Brave with like a web extension, or if Brave wants to partner with us that way and get it built in, that'd be really cool.
Know anyone at Brave?
But yeah, like we can build an extension on top of Brave. I think if we were to go back and try and reinvent the browser for this situation, I don't think it would give us enough room to really grow outwards. Mm-hmm. And so I think just building on top of existing solutions, bringing our touch to it is more efficient for us.
Well, I'd love to earn Jackal or Secret instead of Brave. So if you can make that layer happen.
We're trying to. We only have our one resource right now is the time of the team, right? And we kind of want to focus that time on like what's the most bang for our buck can we get with our time day over day, I guess, right now. And and it's focusing on the airdrop, focusing on building the application, focusing on the test is right now. And for me particularly, it's business development, focusing on dealing with both Filecoin and Secret Network and all the private sale and the public sale and Sienna launch pads, and then trying to figure out the best way for us to get the token on market.
Very cool. Can we talk about the airdrop potentially? I know our viewers would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so we're airdropping and we're going to be watching the Shade airdrop really closely because we kind of think that the way that they did it is really, really well done. And we're going to see if we can airdrop to Terra, Secret, and Atom.
Very cool.
So that would be the triple airdrop to we're an IBC company, so we want to touch as many IBC pressure points as possible to get everyone to kind of figure out what we are as well.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's the plan there. It's not an easy feat at all because it's an IBC thing, but we're going to do our best to make sure that we can get that out there.
I know everybody's going to appreciate that. Airdrops are like the best part of crypto.
Well, you know what's so funny, because if you're new to the IBC, I mean, if you're already part of the IBC community, then that's amazing. You're familiar with this. But if you're not, that's one of these few special things that you don't get in all over crypto, right? There's not like an EVM, like, oh, thank you for being a member of the EVM. We built over here and here. We think that we're all going to reward you. You often see in the IBC that they're these different blockchains. They're actually working together. They're doing different things, and they're coordinating together, and they're helping each other. There are many airdrops that go cross chain, whether it's Atom, Secret, Luna, what was the other one? Atom, Secret. I mean, there's a whole bunch. Juno.
Yeah.
Osmosis. I mean, go down the line. But a lot of these, they work together and they build out a way to help. And when you guys mentioning Secret, Atom, and what was the other one?
Luna.
Oh, Luna. Oh, yeah. Those are the biggest. I mean, Luna's the largest decentralized stablecoin, over $10 billion in all of blockchain and crypto. I mean, that's when it talk about decentralization and supporting the growth of this in a healthy way. I mean, you couldn't pick, a better.
Yeah. If you want to talk about the Terra Luna ecosystem for a while, another really cool thing in early days when we first got into this, we were thinking of, okay, so it would be really annoying for Jackal users every month or every year, depending on how long you want to pay for storage. You have to come back and like, oh, I have to pay again because we don't have a subscription model, right? And with the Pylon protocol, or if someone at Secret Network wanted to create a Pylon protocol comparable, we could play with this idea of we earn the yield. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many people are familiar with the Anchor protocol. Essentially, you deposit base capital and you'll earn about 20%, which is the standard rate that they've set. So imagine if, okay, I want to use Jackal. I need to deposit X amount of capital, and Jackal will earn the yield. And if you want to stop using Jackal, you just take your money back.
That'd be cool. That would be really interesting.
Yeah, you get to have your Jackal and keep your money at the end if you don't want to use it anymore, which is interesting in itself.
I love where you're going with that.
Yeah, so there's something called the Pylon protocol, where that's the payment system that they've created over the Terra Luna ecosystem, where you can pay for different things, or they play with different ideas. You can pay for your Netflix subscription by putting $100 in, and then you always have Netflix. or things along those lines. That's really interesting.
You said Pylon protocol. I'm familiar with Anchor, and
I think it's pylon.money.
Cool. I'll check it out. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Anchor.
I don't know where I'm sending you right now, so
it's all right. It's all right.
We might get this demonetized.
We'll find out. But what you're saying is far out, because I want to bring to the point Alter. I know they. I'm not spilling anything because it's just an idea in the works. But the idea working with Secret is that if you have a validator, or Alter has their own token, if you stake X amount of their token or X amount of Secret on a validator they control, then they'll let you have that subscription, that monthly subscription, or some fee of it, because you're able to cover it off of those fees from the staking. However, you can unbond your stake. It's just a stake. You're not giving it to anybody else, so you can unbond it whenever you want. So you guys creating this creative way where people can interact with Luna, Terra, and lock up some funds or stake it or engage the protocol and then let that pay for it. I mean, that's the future, because people pay for services already anyway, but to be able to do it in a passive way like this, where you just put away a portion of funds and you let that do its work for you, and then have this unlimited use of something without even thinking about it, without even thinking about that monthly fee.
And you're not realizing any inflation, anything like that. It's really interesting. And they have a really cool launch pad too, if you want to look at that, where you can have exposure to new products by not actually investing or taking any risk. Essentially, you just invest them via yield, which is interesting as well.
Good replacement for student loans.
Yeah.
Oh man, if I could like pay for everything like that, oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a super cool just idea. You know, it's just it's a super cool pipe dream, and it would be really cool if someone like the Shade Protocol decided to do something like this, right, Carter?
Right. We had a blast. We had a blast with him on last week. That was just great,
Yeah.
man.
He's the man. He's the man.
He is. He's got some amazing blog articles out there too. I mean, he's been adding some value in building this community for quite some time.
Yeah, no, he's a good writer for sure. Well, he wrote his own book as well. He is the man.
Well, I know who to get when I want my book written. Carter, would you help me out, man? I don't know what to say. Would you write a book about me? Because you're so well. All right, say whatever you want too. Make it colorful. I don't care. I'll sign it.
It has to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Yeah, I'd like to see something like that come to Secret. Just imagine, like you were saying, Jacob, scaling that idea up and being able to deposit capital and have like a stream of payments in perpetuity. It'd be a great way to finance a house.
If you look at the Anchor protocol too, just as a savings account, really, really interesting as well, where essentially they're able to pay out a standard 20% yield by playing with their lending protocol. So same thing as a bank, but they have no overhead, so they can just pay it all back to their savings account. So you just get a 20% yield rather than whatever the banks give you right now, like 0.02% or something like that.
Right. Yeah, it's not even worth talking about. Yeah, I tell everybody that I know that wants a safe investment that this is probably one of the better.
Yeah, so essentially when they're down, they do something with their lending protocol where they make it cheaper to borrow money or cheaper to deposit money or something along those lines, where it's a really, essentially all of the earnings of the lending protocol just gets paid back to the savings account, which is really interesting. And imagine how rich we would be with guys like Wall Street bets out there if we did this in traditional markets.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Well,
insane.
You brought up a really great point, Patrick, because that's a lot of where the value comes from. People are like, well, where are these? How do you get these numbers? Where's in economics, we like to talk about the opportunity cost and a value of what a lot of blockchain brings, right? And if you're displacing intermediaries, if you're doing what certain banks were doing, you're taking away all those jobs, all that electricity, all that capital, all that energy that used to be spent trying to do something with people's funds. If it's now done in this decentralized, more efficient, less costly way, then the people can benefit directly from those savings, and it's built into the protocol to where it makes it to where traditional, like just like a horse couldn't compete with a car, ceteris paribus on a road. I mean, I'm not saying in certain conditions, but like that, what's being done here, what y'all are doing with Jackal DAO and 1 terabyte of storage for a few bucks, compared to traditional competition, and what they're doing over here at Anchor Protocol. This is actually, if people are looking for a way to beat inflation, here you go. Because you're not going to do it in traditional finance.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do with Jackal when it comes to privacy and cybersecurity posture. It's the current state of cybersecurity is nuts right now, and that's coming from 2 guys that work in forensics and investigations and things like that. Actually, can I share my screen right now? Is that possible? Ryan, you probably have to give me the ability to.
I can.
Lucas is the one driving.
Hold on.
Lucas,
we can share.
Driving?
I'm driving it. Hold on. Let me make this. I can make this happen.
Yeah, so everyone grab the holy shit handles right here.
I'm making you host is what I'm going to do.
I think you can just give me permission to.
Oh, I can?
I don't want. I think you can. I really hope so.
Hold on.
I have something really cool to show.
Allow to record local
screen.
files.
There's a share screen button. You might be able to click.
Multiple participants can share simultaneously. You're right. There you go. Boom.
There we go. That's what.
Thank you. I see. I was about to be like, just take over. Go ahead. Patrick's the host now, everyone.
I'm the host. Okay, so this is a really interesting platform here.
But let's see.
Is,
are you sharing it?
Can you see it? Can you see this?
I think I still see your Anchor right now.
No, people aren't going to see it because this is done through the OBS. Dang it. Hold on. Let me see. Who can share? Shucks.
I don't know if that's going to work with the live stream.
No, it should. Who can share? All participants. Well, maybe if I'm clicking around here because
Watch this. Is this working?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep. There we
Oh,
go.
we're there.
It's for
rock on, man.
We
All
have
right.
the technology. Okay, so there's something called the hash that's really interesting, and this is essentially a service that grabs all compromised assets. So when someone says, "Oh, you got hacked," quote unquote, that means that a hacker usually got all this information and dumped it onto the open internet. So there's 14 billion usernames and passwords that are in this, and this is an issue where we're trying to solve with private keys, right? Where you can put your private key in your safety deposit box, and good luck getting that hacker or something along those lines.
Right.
So here you can look at something like FBI.gov. So now this is about 2,000 user accounts where you have in plain text.
Is Johnny Pecker 123 at gmail.com at the top of the FBI.gov website?
FBI.gov.
So we have pretty much plain text, all these different things. You want to go to Rogers.ca. So this is
dehashed. Oh, I thought that was at the FBI. You're checking it.
So these are just all breach credentials, and this is why we think it's absolutely crazy that we use a situation like username and passwords, or if you want to get into, we can go like these are real people, and these are their usernames. Some of them are hashed, but some of them aren't. It's a serious kind of issue where.
So do we just dox Johnny Pecker 123 at gmail.com?
I think so, dude. I think so. But
He's already been doxxed.
That's the issue that we're seeing here right now. Not only with the cybersecurity postures, but if you look at how payments are done, with every time you go to a Starbucks and you want to get a coffee or something along those lines, right. You literally this is what we actually do, which is insane. So we give them the username and password to your entire bank account every single time you use your debit or Visa card or MasterCard or whatever credit card you do. That's how crazy the system is. And you're using it on a machine that you've never seen before. You don't know anything about the machine, and you're typing in your passcode and your username to all your money. Mm-hmm. The way that we're doing it right now, where we can have these public wallet addresses where it doesn't matter if you have it because you can access it just with that information. So we're super important to have these privacy and cybersecurity postures increased, and that's why we're so excited about what we're doing and what we're building.
I actually have a question about that, and as far as like security and being more secure, I personally use this little device here. If you can see that, YubiKey, which is the two-factor authentication device that's physical. So they would need this physical key. I'm curious if there's a way to for Jackal DAO to create like physical key objects, so that way people would need the physical key as well.
Well, that would just be
you can use a ledger.
Yeah, you could just use a ledger.
Yeah, that's the fun piece that we're kind of playing with here, is that you can really just use a ledger, or you can use whatever you want.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can just use the current system. Usually, when people think of cryptocurrency wallets, what you think of is things that only hold cryptocurrency, but you don't really see it as a basket of things that you own, right? And that's where we're trying to change the how we're seeing this, because what it is, it's truly just a basket of all your things that you own on the internet now, which we're super excited about.
And it's timely, because isn't there like a massive exploit going on right now in the cybersecurity world? I remember reading an article about it. Very common.
Log4j?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, there's all kinds of them all the time. That's just an exploit, and the reason why that exploit is so dangerous, particularly right now, is because of the fact that it's kind of like this piece of open source software that's in a lot of other things, and there's memes about them being in like your toaster and things like that.
Yeah, it basically like affected every single Java app in the world, and like parking meters use Java, and they probably have Log4j in them, and you can just like execute any code that you want in it, which is really bad. Like I saw people injecting Doom into web servers, and they were just playing Doom in their web browser on somebody else's computer.
Yeah, wasn't it like you enter the code? Wasn't it like you enter the code into like the web browser search function essentially, and it runs it? Is that more or less what happened?
I don't know totally how it worked, to be totally honest with you, but you could access some stuff you weren't supposed to access.
Yeah, and the other thing that I noticed, not only just vulnerabilities like that are standard across the board, other things that are just brutal is just ransomware attacks. Where I've seen situations where like your coffee maker is now locked and you have to pay Bitcoin to an address to unlock your coffee maker, or your smart fridge or something like that.
Oh man.
There's
that's so funny.
That's hilarious.
There's a bunch of different things that we're seeing right now where people don't understand how vulnerable and how public information is without blockchain. Just even using hashed, I can pull up anyone's password, and then I can use that password as a pivot point, and then plug that back in, and I'll get all your emails, and then we'll grab all the emails, we'll plug those in, and now we have all your usernames. And this is how criminals, and the reason why we have things like this, and people are going to be like, hey, why do you have that? But the reason why we have these subscriptions is to catch criminals. That's what we do for law firms and corporations, right? And sometimes we assist law enforcement as well, where this is how people get into your bank accounts. And when you see cyber criminals right now, essentially what they do is they, okay, I have this email address that is breached through a Facebook breach or one of the breaches in hashed. So how much can I learn enough information about this one person that I can take a loan out in their name? Mm-hmm. And that's what they do. And so they say, okay, so now I have the email, and then I have to find the name and the phone number. And now I have an email, a name, I have to find the password. Once I get a password, now I can go and test all the bank accounts, every single bank website. And then once you find the one that's right, it will give you a kickback, say, okay, you need a security answer or something like this. Like, what's the name of your first dog? So then you go to Facebook, and then you just scroll down for long enough, and you say Fluffy's 4th birthday, and you type Fluffy, and now you're in the bank. But the thing is that there's such a gray marketplace happening that they don't only just do it themselves, because to do the entire process is really long and time consuming. But now there's people that are creating enterprise around a certain portion of the process of taking these loans out. So some guys just package up all of the spam emails, and you know when your phone gets all these crazy things, or you get these spam emails, those are the spammers. They package that up and they sell it to the guys that match it with breach databases. And then once you have those two things, it's called a full. And then once you have the full, you get to push it, and then you try to figure out how much they have in their accounts, and then you sell them based on their credit score. Because it's not about the money in their account, it's about how much of a loan can you take out, or how many credit cards can you open up. So we've seen situations this year, particularly with the Small Business Administration in the States, where they're giving out the COVID loans. Up here in Canada, we have these CERB checks that were given out to us. And we see like 8-year-olds right now that are taking out business loans, which doesn't make any sense. It's just craziness. That the state of cybersecurity right now is so bad, and we're just looking to kind of just getting rid of things like email, names, passwords, and things along those lines. That reduces your risk so much, and just using your like what Jacob was talking about, just having that 2-factor, or just if you have a ledger that controls your data, the only vulnerability you really have is what we like to call like a $5 wrench attack. And what that is that when someone comes to your house and like hits you with a wrench and tell you just unlock it.
That's the only vulnerability.
And that's for anything in the world.
Yeah.
It's really the only vulnerability to your files or to your money at that point, which we think is a huge step in the right direction.
because you're never going to get rid of that completely.
That's why you always, but that's why I always keep that little dummy Kepler with just a little bit of amount.
But just a small amount.
So when you're holding your head, you're like, all right, here you go, man, get out of here with that.
Yeah. Right.
Ha! You didn't check my other sock. That's why. I mean, that's why I wear 2 socks, but I don't know other people maybe.
So, yeah, man. Anyways, it's been really good talking with you guys. I gotta probably hop. I gotta get to bed. I have a big day tomorrow, but
it's been a full hour.
Yeah, we did.
I really appreciate talking with you guys. It's been a good time.
Likewise.
Thank you for giving us your time. We really appreciate it. We really are excited about seeing. You guys are building some stuff in blockchain and crypto that's really usable and that's actually ready for the world. So this is exciting. I look forward to following up with you guys as this continues to develop and mature, and keeping people abreast of the opportunities that they can to support you guys. So if there's anything that people can do to support you right now, other than following you on Twitter and jumping on Discord and staying on top and maybe testing it out on February 14th, we'll post the links to your stuff below and leave that for people to download and take a look. But if there's something that they can do, let them know.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much just follow us, join our Discord, follow us on Twitter, and if you go to our Twitter or go to our website is the other place that has kind of all of our links. You can also fill out a quick little form where it's just a 1-sentence answer where the question is what is it, Marcin? Like, what is the ultimate answer?
The ultimate answer, yeah.
You can literally just write anything. We're just trying to gauge. We don't want to dox anyone, or we don't want anyone. If you're not comfortable giving any information, you don't have to. But we're just trying to gauge the number so we can kind of get everything in place for the infrastructure needed to support.
Cool. Well, we'll do what we can to keep the flow going in your direction, because this is where people need to be. If you're excited about blockchain, you're excited about crypto, then you need to be excited about Jackal DAO, because these are the guys that are building something that blockchain and crypto is meant to displace, create through creative destruction, and make the world a better place. And so thank you guys very much for taking the time. I know you got to get back to work because you guys are building some good stuff. So so get out of here and get back to work.
All right, you guys take it easy.
We'll talk to you later.
Later, guys.
Man, that was awesome. That was a blast.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. We're still streaming, but
well, it's good to see got some teams bringing decentralization to DeFi. That I wanted to get that in there.
Yeah,
because it's like we talk about decentralized finance, but how decentralized is it when we're running on centralized cloud servers? And fill in the blank. There's other examples too. So yeah, good to see movement in the direction of privacy and true decentralization. Definitely going to follow up with Jackal DAO and keep abreast of what's going on with Secret in general.
And we had
Anything else we want to touch on?
Well, it's been a full hour. Let's see what time it is. It's 9:09. We had some articles. I'll just do some videos. We'll save them. We'll stay abreast, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment, all that good stuff. We definitely have some more Secret Network alpha going on. More IBC.
Some more Secret
IBC
Network
coverage.
secrets.
Secret Network secrets. I know Tor Bear just came out on a Web3 privacy article that is to be discussed, and where he's breaking down the problems of the Web2 economy and the connections or the problem solved.
Well, that'll be a nice teaser for the next.
There's a teaser. We've got Jackal Alpha. We've got Button Swap Alpha. I love my caps, and there we go, right there. I love them right there, Button Swap. So, and Secret Oracles. I don't know about that. That's kind of weird right there. But if you're okay ignoring that ocular nerve, or optical nerve.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Then you can just take a look at the eye. Just block that out and look at the rest of it, man. But I'm sure it's a good article. We'll dig into it. We'll dig into that and talk about why the hacker that exploited the OpenSea bug for the Bored Apes Yacht Club would not have been able to do that. And we'll talk about free crypto giveaways, because, man, it's been some exciting times on our Twitter giveaway. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, lots of cool stuff on Twitter.
And if you're watching this before the 30th, you have time to jump in and win a free whitelist spot to one of the coolest, hottest, most innovative, in my opinion. Oh, actually, this is also Jacob. No, I'm just kidding. This is nobody else's opinion. In my opinion, it's one of the most innovative NFTs in blockchain and crypto, because you are actually a part, owner in a validator node. So it's like the first DAO that has a treasury, a self-filling treasury. The first DAO that's a self-filling treasury, and you're supporting a network. This is kind of a big deal, and privacy and other stuff. So we will see. How do you get involved? Well, I guess you'll have to follow at wise_Bitcoin and find the post that talks about it, because there are two different ways. Here we go. We actually have two. There's another one I was able to offer to the community, and that's it. Get on Twitter.
Sweet.
Tag any influencer over 100,000, which is not us. And and there you go. Follow us. Requote the tweet and tag a friend to share the love. And you want to tag that influencer and comment why they should pioneer secret network and privacy. So that's what it's all about, making the world a better place with this technology. And the other one that is similar to this, show this thread. I think there's another thing down here.
The Snoop Dogg.
It's the Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is very similar. It was what inspired this. Now, why there were 420. There are 420 total mint. So this is going to be a very rare NFT. There are only 420, not 4,200, not 10,000, not 9,000. 420 are going to be sharing a validator node on the secret network, on top of coming together in community in a DAO with people who pioneer and love privacy. But yeah, the original one that started this whole thing was tag Snoop Dogg and comment why he should pioneer the 420, because he's already a pioneer in blockchain and NFTs. I found out because I follow nothing but, I got this Twitter, follow nothing but crypto related stuff to learn and to talk to people and communicate. And a Snoop Dogg popped up, and I said, "What? How did Snoop Dogg pop my feed? That's incredible." And it was because he was dropping some NFT. I said, "That's he's at the front, man. So if he's at the front with NFTs and all this stuff, why not throw some secret NFT knowledge that way and keep it going?" But you know what? I think did we pretty much cover what we wanted to cover?
Covered it.
Yeah.
We hit all the news. We got to really talk about Jackal DAO and what they're doing, and yeah, I think it was a good live stream.
Cool.
Got all the crypto neo out of the way.
Yep. But we have more coming, so stick with it. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you on the next one.
So the next time, have a beautiful day, and namaste, y'all.
Later.